Tonight, let your thoughts settle toward a single force, the one holding you to your bed this very moment. It asks nothing of you, yet it never once lets go. Gravity is the gentlest of nature's forces, weaker than any other by far, and still it is the one that shapes the sky and cradles you where you rest. Everywhere you have ever stood, it was there beneath your feet, pressing you kindly into the ground, giving weight to your body and meaning to the word down. Notice how rarely you notice it. We live our whole lives inside its embrace, so constant and so faithful that it fades from our attention entirely. Only ever does gravity pull things toward one another. It has no way to push, no way to repel. Its single wish is always to bring the scattered together. Above you tonight, the same force keeps the moon forever circling, tracing its wide, unhurried path around the earth without ever needing to slow or rest. That same pull raises the seas. The moon lifts the ocean into two bulges, near side and far, so most shores greet about two gentle high tides each day. Far beyond our little world, gravity is what lights the stars, squeezing vast clouds of gas until their hearts grow hot enough to shine across the dark. It binds the galaxies too, gathering countless suns into slow, turning wheels, holding them together across distances too wide for any mind to truly hold. Reaching out from every bit of matter, gravity never fully fades. It grows fainter with distance, yes, yet its faint touch stretches endlessly across all of space. You feel it as steadiness, as the sense of being held. It is why a dropped thing falls homeward, why rivers run downhill, why rain returns to the sea. Strange that something so weak should rule so much, because it only ever gathers, and because it adds across enormous masses, gravity serenely governs the whole cosmos. In the hours ahead, we will wander together through what this force truly is, how it works, and the wonders it performs while you lie here at ease. We will speak of weight and mass, of falling and floating, of how a heavy thing and a light thing come to earth side by side in empty air. We will follow the astronauts who fall forever around the world and see how their weightlessness is not escape from gravity but a long, endless dive. There are deeper wonders waiting, of bending light and slowing time, of ripples running through space itself, and mysteries we have only begun to name. None of that need trouble you now. For this moment it is enough to feel yourself supported, upheld by the oldest and most tender arrangement in all the universe. So let your breathing ease, upheld as you always have been by this steady, unfailing force. We have only just begun, and a long, calm way still stretches ahead of us tonight. Right now, as you settle into your bed, something is holding you here. It is gravity, the steady pull of the whole earth drawing your body downward toward its distant center. That downward pull has a name you already know. Your weight is simply gravity acting on you, the measure of how firmly this vast world keeps you pressed against your resting place. The pull reaches straight through you toward the middle of the planet, thousands of miles below. Every part of you leans that way, which is why lying down feels like being received and supported. Here is the quiet wonder of it. Every object that has mass reaches out to every other, and so the earth is forever tugging you closer moment by unhurried moment. What may surprise you is that you tug back. You pull on the entire planet with exactly the force it uses on you, and even exchange between you and the ground. Your pull on the Earth is real, precisely equal, and yet far too faint to ever notice. The planet is so enormous that your influence stirs it not one measurable bit. So the two of you are joined in a shared embrace, each drawing the other. It is only the great difference in size that makes you the one who comes to rest. Now consider what you are actually made of. Your mass is the amount of matter within you, every bone and breath and cell, the sheer quantity of stuff that is you. Mass belongs to you and travels with you everywhere. It does not shrink when you feel light, nor swell when you feel heavy. It is simply how much of you there is. Weight is a different thing entirely. Weight is the pull upon that mass, the force with which a world beneath you draws it down toward the world's own heart. Because weight depends on the world you stand upon, it can change while your mass stays whole. You carry the same matter, yet different ground would press against you with a different strength. On the Moon you would weigh about 1/6 of this, and on Mars near 1/3, though every atom of you remains unchanged and complete, exactly as it is tonight. It helps to hold the two apart in your mind. Mass answers how much there is of you. Weight answers how strongly this particular Earth is choosing to hold you. The pull you feel is astonishingly reliable. It never tires, never wavers, never asks anything of you. It simply keeps drawing you down while you breathe and let go. This same force gathers the loose things of the world. It draws rain toward the fields, settles dust upon the shelf, and pools water into the lowest, most restful place it can find. Think of it as the Earth's way of keeping you near, the reason a loose leaf drifts down to the grass and your weary shoulders ease back into the softness beneath them. You spend your whole life within this hold, so used to it that you rarely feel its constant care, yet it is there in every step, every seat, every lying down. So let the pull do its ancient work. Your mass rests here, welcomed by the entire Earth below you, and you can loosen into that welcome and stay and drift toward sleep. Picture a young Isaac Newton resting in a garden as an apple lets go of its branch and falls. He wonders what draws it unfailingly toward the waiting ground. The apple falls, and this you know by heart. Yet Newton dared to ask whether the very same pull might reach far higher, out past the treetops and clouds. His quiet leap of thought was this: perhaps the force that tugs the apple downward is the same one that holds the moon looping endlessly around us. One rule, spanning earth and sky. Before him, most believed the heavens obeyed laws all their own, separate from the falling of ordinary things. Newton saw instead a single order joining the small and the vast. The moon, he reasoned, is forever falling toward the earth, just as the apple does. It simply travels sideways so swiftly that it keeps curving past us, never arriving. So the force that eases you down onto your pillow is the very one that keeps the moon faithfully circling overhead. Nothing at all separates the two but distance. In his great book, The Principia, Newton set this vision down in careful reasoning. He named a force that every mass in the cosmos shares, reaching outward without end. Gravity, he showed, is universal. Every scrap of matter draws every other scrap toward itself, from the apple in your hand to the farthest, dimmest world you cannot see. You attract the earth as surely as it attracts you, with a pull exactly equal to its own. The earth simply barely stirs, so vast is its mass. The exchange is perfectly mutual. The same attraction that shapes a raindrop's fall also guides whole planets along their courses. One law describes the tumble of the near and the wheeling of the far. Newton understood that this pull weakens as things move apart, thinning with distance, yet it never truly ceases. However far the moon travels, the earth still keeps its steady hold. There is comfort in the thought that the ground beneath you and the moon beyond your window answer to one and the same gentle command. You belong to the same order they do. The apple did not fall because the earth is special, nor the moon orbit because the sky is magic. Both simply follow one rule, written into the fabric of all matter. Think how the ordinary and the celestial suddenly became one family under his insight. A falling seed, a rolling stone, a distant moon, all bound by a single kinship. Newton could not say why gravity exists, only how faithfully it behaves. He gave us its measure and its reach, and left its deeper nature waiting for later minds. Everything with mass takes part in this vast, silent conversation of attraction. The stars pull on you this moment, unfathomably weakly, yet they pull on you all the same. So when you feel your own weight easing down into the mattress, remember it is the same tender insistence that keeps the moon aloft above you, night after untroubled night. Let that thought hold you now, as the earth holds you and the moon is held. One law, cradling apple and moon alike, carries you softly toward sleep. Gravity has a rule about distance, and it is a tender one. The closer you are to something, the more firmly it holds you. Step away, and the pull begins to ease. This easing is not sudden, nor is it steady in a plain way. Gravity fades with the square of the distance, a phrase that hides a quietly beautiful shape. Picture moving twice as far from a world. You might expect its hold to halve, yet it does more than that. The pull becomes only a quarter of what it was. Move 3 times as far away, and the grip drops to a ninth of its former strength. Distance multiplies its softening effect, and the force falls faster than you would guess. There is a reason for this generous falling off. The pull spreads outward in every direction, thinning as it covers an ever wider sphere of surrounding space. Imagine warmth from a lantern spreading into a room. The same glow stretched across a larger and larger surface grows fainter everywhere it lands. Gravity thins in just this way. So the force is fierce up close and forgiving far away. Near a world it presses with real weight. A little farther out it loosens into something almost tender. This is why you feel the ground so surely beneath you now. You rest near the Earth's vast body, deep within the strongest reach of its embrace. Rise a mountain's height above the sea, and your weight changes by only the faintest amount. You have barely moved compared with the whole width of the planet. The rule explains the sky as well as the ground. The moon feels a weaker tug than you do, held from a great and lovely distance away. Yet here is the part that soothes most deeply. However far you travel, the pull grows fainter, but never becomes truly nothing. It thins and still remains. The force reaches on, ever weaker, folding outward past the moon, past the planets, past the edges of what any eye can see. No distance is wide enough to cancel it completely. A star unimaginably far still tugs upon you, its hold too faint to feel, yet real and present. Because the fading follows this steep and orderly rule, gravity acts local and global at once. It rules its neighborhood firmly while whispering across the entire universe. The same law that anchors you to your bed lets galaxies feel one another across gulfs of emptiness that light itself takes ages to cross. How reassuring! A force so lawful, it does not lunge or vanish, it changes with distance in a smooth, dependable arc you can almost picture as a softly bending curve. Everything with mass obeys this rule, from a falling leaf to a wheeling world. The nearer thing is felt more, the farther thing less, in that same faithful proportion. And so you lie held by what is close and touched, faintly by what is far. Let that thought settle around you, steady and unhurried as you sink toward rest. Long ago, Galileo wondered whether heavy things truly fall faster than light ones. His answer, tucked into the heart of gravity, is one of the loveliest surprises science has ever offered you. Picture a hammer and a feather held out side by side. Everything you have ever seen tells you the hammer must plunge while the feather lingers overhead, unhurried in the air. Yet that difference is not gravity at work. It is the air itself, catching under the feather, cradling its wide, thin shape, and easing its descent, while the hammer slices straight through. Take that air away, and something remarkable happens. Gravity pulls on every object with a matched eagerness, urging each one to speed up at precisely the same rate as it falls. A feather and a stone, a coin and a leaf, released together in a true vacuum, keep perfect company all the way down. They meet the ground in the very same instant. Their weights differ, and so does the pull each one feels. But heavier things also resist being moved more stubbornly, and those two effects balance so exactly that all falling becomes one shared motion. Galileo could only reason his way toward this truth, since he had no way to empty a room of its air. He trusted the logic even where his eyes could not follow. For centuries it stayed a quiet argument, a beautiful idea waiting for a stage grand enough and airless enough to let the world finally watch it happen in the open. That stage turned out to be the moon. During Apollo 15, an astronaut named David Scott stood upon its dust, where no breath of air has ever stirred a single grain. In one gloved hand he held a geologist's hammer, in the other a falcon's feather. He lifted them level, spoke to the watching world, and simply let them go. With no air to lift or delay the feather, both fell together across that airless space. They touched the lunar surface at the same moment, exactly as Galileo had promised they would. Scott smiled and said the discovery held true, and somewhere across the centuries an old idea was finally answered by the plain, honest fall of two objects on another world. Think of what that means for the pull holding you now. Gravity does not favor the mighty over the slight. It reaches for the feather and the hammer with equal tenderness. On Earth we rarely see it, because our thick blanket of air is always there, buoying up the light and letting them float where the heavy simply drop. So the fluttering of a leaf, the slow spiral of a seed on the breeze, is really the air's doing, a kindness woven into every breath of wind around you. Beneath that busy air, the true rule waits, steady and impartial, the same law that guides a planet and a pebble and the weight of your own resting body. How kind, a force so even-handed, one that would let you and a falling feather keep pace, arriving side by side without haste or struggle between you. Let that thought settle over you now, this ancient promise proven on the moon that all things fall together, held by the same unhurried hand easing toward rest. Picture an astronaut aboard a station high above you, drifting through the cabin without touching the floor, turning in the air as though weight itself had been set aside. It is tempting to think they float because gravity has let go of them up there. Yet that is not what has happened at all, and the truth is stranger and kinder. At the height where the station circles, only a couple hundred miles above the ground, Earth's pull is nearly as strong as it is beneath your resting body right now. If a tall tower could somehow reach that altitude and you stood at its top, you would weigh almost exactly what you weigh tonight. Gravity is thoroughly present out there. So why do they float if the planet still holds them close? The answer is that they and their whole ship are endlessly falling, and falling together changes everything. An orbit is a curious kind of falling. Their ship races sideways so swiftly that as it drops toward Earth, the curved planet keeps bending away beneath it, and they never arrive. Falling forward, forever missing the ground below, they trace a great circle around the world. This is weightlessness, not escape from gravity, but surrender to it, complete and unresisted. On the ground, you feel your weight only because the bed pushes back, holding you up against the pull that wants to draw you downward toward the planet's heart. Take that support away, and the pressing sensation vanishes. In free fall, there is no floor pushing up, no seat resisting, nothing to remind the body it is being pulled. That is the whole secret of the floating feeling. Weight is not something you carry. It is the touch of whatever holds you up against gravity's steady, unhurried invitation downward. When astronaut and spacecraft fall as one, no part presses against another. They hang weightless inside a vessel that is itself tumbling around the Earth, and so they simply drift. You have tasted a sliver of this yourself, in the brief swoop of a dropping elevator, or the crest of a hill where your stomach seems to rise and lighten. For that fleeting moment, you and the car fall together, and the pressure of the seat eases away. Stretch that instant into hours, and you would be an orbiting astronaut. Even a diver, arcing from a board toward the water, is weightless in the air, held by nothing, falling freely before the surface catches them and weight comes flooding back. So the floating in space is only falling that never ends, a fall gentled into a circle, going around and around with nothing beneath to break it or press upon it. How restful it is to know this. The astronauts are not lost beyond the reach of home. Earth still keeps them, guiding them along a path that curves back on itself. They are held and falling at once, carried by the same force that keeps you upon your mattress, only turned into a smooth and endless glide above the sleeping world. Let that image stay with you as you settle deeper now, weightless in your own way, cradled by the mattress and the soft draw of the floor, easing toward sleep. Tonight, let your thoughts rise toward the moon, that pale companion circling above you. It seems to hang there untroubled, yet the truth is stranger and more soothing than mere stillness. The moon is falling. Every moment it is pulled toward Earth by the same force that holds you against your bed, tugged steadily inward across the vast reach between us. And yet it never lands, it never draws closer, never crashes down upon us, but keeps sweeping around the sky in the same faithful path it has traced for ages. Long ago, Newton imagined a cannon set atop an impossibly tall mountain, firing a ball outward with more and more force to picture how this could be so. A weak shot arcs down and strikes the ground nearby. A stronger one flies farther before landing, curving to follow the round shoulder of the turning world beneath it. Fire it harder still, and something wonderful happens. The ball falls exactly as fast as the earth curves away, so the ground keeps sliding out from under it. Now the cannonball never reaches the ground. It falls forever, forward and downward at once, sweeping all the way around the planet to arrive back where it began. That endless falling around is an orbit. It is not a struggle against gravity, but a graceful surrender to it, falling and moving sideways in perfect, unbroken balance. The moon does precisely this. It plunges toward us constantly, yet it also races along its path so swiftly that it keeps missing, curving past instead of coming down. Picture it as a stone whirled on a string, forever leaning inward yet forever carried onward. Take away either the pull or the motion, and the circle would unravel. The great secret is that falling and orbiting are the very same thing. To circle the earth is only to fall while traveling fast enough to keep overshooting the edge. A tossed stone does a smaller version of this, arcing briefly before the ground rises to meet it. Give it moon-like speed and its curve would never close the gap, circling on instead. Every satellite tracing the night obeys the same tender arithmetic. Each one tumbles perpetually toward Earth and perpetually sails past it, held in a loop of ceaseless descent. Raise your gaze further, and the planets are doing this around the sun. Earth itself is falling, held in a long sweeping curve by our star's enormous grip. Even the sun is not fixed. It falls in a slow arc around the heart of our galaxy, carried by the gathered pull of countless distant stars. So nothing above you is truly still. Everything is falling toward something greater, and by moving onward as it falls, everything is spared from ever arriving. How soothing that graceful choreography, a universe of things held not by chains, but by the willing agreement of falling and going forward at once. So let the moon keep its endless forward-leaning fall, missing us softly through the years, and let yourself settle now, held by the same faithful force carried gently toward rest. Imagine the planets tracing their long loops around the sun, each one following a path laid down by gravity, faithful and unhurried, circling age after age without ever needing to be told the way. You might picture those paths as perfect circles, the way a compass draws them. Yet the true shapes are subtler, and knowing the difference is a small marvel worth resting your mind upon. Each planet moves not in a circle but in an ellipse, a stretched oval, closed and smooth. Round the sun it goes, a little longer one way than the other, endlessly returning to where it began. The sun does not sit at the center of that oval. It rests off to one side at a point called a focus, holding the wandering planet close from its quiet, unmoving place. So the distance between a world and its star gently breathes across the year. Sometimes the planet leans nearer the warmth, and sometimes it swings away, farther out along the widening curve. When a planet draws close to the sun, it hurries. When it wanders to the outer reach of its path, it slows. Speed and nearness rise and fall together, always in balance. This is no accident of motion. Nearer the sun, gravity's pull is stronger, and the planet answers by quickening, sweeping through that arc before easing back toward the calmer, distant lengths of its journey. There is a hidden fairness in this dance. In the same span of time, the planet sweeps out an equal area of space, whether racing close or ambling far away. So a thin, tall slice near the sun matches a broad, short slice out beyond, each covering the same measure. The world speeds and slows precisely enough to keep that ledger even. These graceful rules were mapped by Johannes Kepler, who bent over years of careful measurements. He found the ellipse where others had insisted on circles, and let the numbers, not habit, guide him. It cost him great labor and many discarded guesses. Yet what he uncovered was a kind of music, 3 simple truths about how the planets keep their ordered, unwavering time. Kepler described how the paths behave, tracing their shapes and their changing pace. He mapped the what of it long before anyone could say the why beneath the motion. That deeper reason arrived later, with Isaac Newton, who showed that the very same gravity holding you to your bed also holds each planet swinging along its curving road. One force, reaching across the emptiness, bends every path into an ellipse and sets the pace of every world. Newton explained why Kepler's ovals must be exactly the shapes he had found. How settling a thing so predictable! Knowing the rules, we can say where a planet will stand years from now, its future written plainly in the geometry of its path. Worlds nearer the sun complete their loops swiftly, while distant ones take lifetimes to come around. Each keeps its own steady measure, none rushing another, all bound to the same steady center. No hand steadies these orbits, no engine drives them, only gravity and momentum. 2 quiet partners are needed to trace the same ellipse over and over through the long, dark reach of space. So let the planets go on turning as you settle deeper, faithful along their gentle ovals, tracing the same calm loops they always have, a slow sureness carrying you softly toward rest. Let yourself imagine for a while that weight has loosened its hold. The pull you have carried all day thins to nothing, and you begin to float free. Nothing presses on you now. Your shoulders unclench, your limbs grow light, and the whole of you seems to hover, unhurried, above the bed that once held you down. Picture your body suspended in a warm, dark openness, turning without effort. There is no up, no down, only the ease of being adrift and unbothered. The weight in your chest lifts first, then the weight behind your eyes. One by one, small heavinesses release, and you rise into a floating stillness. You are supported by nothing and by everything at once. No surface pushes back, yet you feel wholly upheld, cradled in an openness that asks nothing of you and steadies you all the same. Imagine turning slowly, arms loose, breath easy, the way a leaf might hang suspended in warm water, nowhere to fall to, nothing to reach for. Every muscle that braced against the ground can let go. The floor has released you, and you hang in a wide and welcoming emptiness, perfectly at ease. There is a tenderness in weightlessness, a sense of being carried without being grasped. You move as thought moves, unhurried, wherever the current of rest happens to take you. Feel how your legs no longer need to hold you, how your spine stops working against anything. The effort of standing dissolves into a floating you never have to earn. You drift the way warmth spreads through a room, unresisted and unmeasured. Time seems to loosen too, stretching wide and unremarkable around your resting mind. In this floating, there is no reaching and no holding on. Whatever you carried is set down somewhere far below, and you rise lighter for having released it. Imagine the smallest breath turning you a fraction, the world tilting with dreamlike slowness. You are unmoored, unworried, adrift in a space that holds you kindly. The weightlessness settles into your hands, your face, the small of your back. Each part of you forgets its heaviness and remembers only how good it feels to be free. You are suspended between waking and sleep, buoyant as a swimmer floating on a warm and endless sea. Nothing hurries you toward either shore. Notice how effortless breathing becomes when nothing weighs upon your chest. Air comes and goes on its own, and you simply hover within it, untroubled. This floating asks for no destination. You are exactly where you belong, unmoored and unafraid, turning wherever the ease of the moment happens to carry you, needing to arrive nowhere at all. Let the last of your weight melt outward, dissolving into the warm openness until you can no longer tell where you end and the resting dark begins. So stay here a while longer, floating free, held by nothing and everything, and let this weightless ease carry you onward into the deeper rest that waits. Far overhead the moon is reaching down, and the oceans feel it. Its gravity tugs on the water nearest it, drawing the sea into a low, rounded swell across the world. That reaching pull weakens with distance, so the near side of Earth feels the moon most strongly. The water there gathers toward it, rising into a broad bulge that follows the moon across the sky. On the opposite face of Earth, something curious happens. The moon pulls the whole planet a little toward itself, tugging the solid Earth away from the water there, leaving a second swell trailing behind. So two bulges of ocean exist at once, one facing the moon and one turned away, and the wide seas rest a little higher along that gentle axis of pull. Earth turns beneath these two standing swells like a sleeper rolling under an unmoving blanket of sea. The bulges stay aimed at the moon while the coasts rotate through them. As your shoreline is carried into a bulge, the tide climbs the sand. Water eases higher up the beach, filling harbors and coves, and the world seems to breathe inward. Then the turning earth carries that coast out of the swell, and the sea slips back. The tide falls, uncovering wet stones and tide pools where the water rested a while ago. Because two bulges wait on opposite sides, Most coasts pass through both in a single turning of the planet. That is why the tide swells and settles roughly twice each day. The whole pattern is unhurried and dependable. Water rises and withdraws on a rhythm set, not by Earth alone, but by another world hanging in the sky above the waves. The moon does not move the water quickly. It only leans on the ocean across 250,000 miles, and the sea answers in a slow, faithful heaping and easing. The sun adds its own tug as well, fainter here despite its enormous mass, because it lies so much farther away that its reach upon the tides is milder than the moon's. When sun and moon line up together, their pulls combine and the tides swell higher and sink lower, a stronger heartbeat of the sea born from two bodies pulling as one. When they stand at right angles instead, the sun's pull works against the moon's, and the tides grow more modest, the sea rising and falling within a narrower reach. None of this is the water fleeing anywhere. It is simply gravity, the same quiet force that settles you into your resting place, gathering the ocean into a shape and letting the planet turn slowly through it. Along coastlines, the tide's arrival can look dramatic, yet the swell itself is only a broad, low mound of water spread across thousands of miles of open sea. In the deep middle of an ocean, the bulge would barely lift you. A rise of a few feet across a vast breadth felt more than seen beneath a passing hull. Every rising tide you have ever watched was the moon's distant hand, brushing the sea toward itself and letting it fall back as the earth carried you onward. So let the tides keep their old appointment while you rest. Water heaping and easing under the moon, the whole ocean breathing in a rhythm that will still be turning when you wake. The moon raises the tides, and the tides in turn tug back on the moon, a slow exchange of gravity that has been unfolding since long before you were born. As Earth turns beneath the ocean's swelling bulges, the water lags a little behind, and that lagging drag acts like a gentle brake on our spinning world. Each rotation loses a whisper of its speed. The day does not stay fixed at all. It lengthens by a tiny fraction, far too small for one lifetime to feel. Over millions of years, though, those tiny fractions gather. What was once a shorter day has stretched, slowly widening into the 24 hours you rest within tonight. The spin that the tides steal from Earth does not simply vanish. The same gravitational bond hands it along to the moon, nudging it outward into a wider orbit. And so the moon recedes, easing away from us by a few centimeters each year, about the pace at which your own fingernails, without a sound, grow. You would never notice it by looking up, yet across the ages, this small annual step carries the moon steadily farther across the deepening reach of space. Turn your imagination back, far back, and the moon hangs closer, looming larger in the ancient sky, its bright face broader than the one you know. In those distant times, the days were shorter too, the young Earth whirling faster, its sunrises and sunsets crowding more tightly into each brief turning. Creatures long gone lived under a nearer moon and briefer days, though none could sense the slow change threading through their ordinary hours. It is gravity doing all of this, working through the flexing of water and the give of rock, a steady hand shaping time itself by slow degrees. The bulges the moon lifts are not only in the sea, the solid ground rises and falls a little as well, breathing with the tides. Friction is the quiet author of the story, the faint resistance of tides against a turning planet, converting motion into warmth and a slightly longer day. Nothing here is sudden. The moon slips away, the day expands, and the whole graceful drift proceeds slower than any clock in your home could ever show. Someday, ages from now, the day and the month may lengthen toward each other, the rhythms of earth and moon settling into a closer accord. A soft comfort lives in this, knowing that even time is pliable, that a day is not a fixed and rigid thing, but a room widening slowly, with room enough inside it for your rest. You are held within this unhurried motion, resting on a world that turns a heartbeat less quickly than it did when the dinosaurs walked. So let the thought loosen and settle as you sink toward sleep, the moon easing outward, the day stretching wide enough to hold your rest. Above you, unseen through the ceiling and the night, the sun keeps its steady hold on everything around it and on the very world that lies beneath your resting body tonight. Its gravity is not a rope or a chain, but an invisible reach that stretches outward across many billions of miles, touching every planet turning in the surrounding dark. The earth carries you around the sun without your ever once feeling the motion, held in a wide, curving path that repeats itself faithfully year after year through empty space. Each planet follows its own orbit, whether near or far from the light, and all of them alike are bound by the same single pull radiating from that one enormous star. Mercury swings close and fast, while the distant worlds move with an unhurried grandeur, yet all of them alike are held by the same kind pull that keeps them in place. Even the outermost planets, so remote that sunlight reaches them faint and cold, still feel the sun's grip guiding them along their immense, looping, endlessly returning journeys through the void. Gravity weakens with distance, thinning as the worlds move farther and farther out, and yet it never truly ends, reaching on and on into the deep space that surrounds us. Far past the known planets, icy bodies wander in the frozen distance, and even they answer to the sun, tracing slow arcs around a star it will never reach or warm. Comets fall inward from unimaginable distances, swing around the sun, and are flung back out again, held the whole long way by that faraway, unfailing pull of gravitation. The sun commands worlds it never touches, never warms enough to matter, shaping the paths they follow from across a gulf far too vast for the human mind to truly hold. Every moon circling every planet rides within this larger embrace, its small orbit nested neatly inside the one great orbit that belongs entirely to the sun and to no other. Because gravity is always attractive and adds up across enormous mass, the sun's great body gathers a whole family of scattered worlds into one wide, unending, circling company. You need no walls to feel held here tonight, for the same steady force that keeps the far planets turning is the one that keeps your own world beneath you. Something in this idea invites rest, the sense of belonging to a path already laid out, of being carried along without any effort around a distant, glowing, ever-present center of light. The planets do not fall away into emptiness, and neither does your earth beneath you. Each one is caught, cradled, and carried by a reach that simply does not let go. Across the frozen outer edges of the solar system, Bodies too faint to ever see still bend toward the sun, bound to it by a thread of gravity spun from mass alone. Nothing out there is dropped or forgotten in the void. The whole vast wheel of worlds turns because one star peacefully holds them, the near and the far alike, together. So let yourself be held tonight as they are held, carried gently along a curving way through the night, while the sun keeps its silent, faithful watch over you until morning. Newton gave us a single law of gravity so exact that it could describe the whole dance of the heavens and predict where each planet would be tomorrow night. With that law in hand, astronomers could look at a single planet's motion and read backward, learning the pull of every distant world that shaped its long, winding path. For a long while the sky obeyed beautifully, each planet arriving on its predicted mark, gravity's arithmetic and the glowing points of light agreeing without a whisper of disagreement. Then came Uranus, the far pale world found by telescope, which began to stray. Ever so slightly it wandered off the course the equations had laid out for it. The gap was tiny, a faint lag here, a small lead there, yet it was real and stubborn, and it would not smooth away no matter how carefully the sums were checked. Here the tired mind might rest on trust, rather than doubt the law that had never failed. Astronomers wondered instead what unseen thing could be tugging Uranus aside. If gravity is always attractive, always reaching, then something with mass must be pulling. An undiscovered world farther out and dark to every eye could account for the drift. So the puzzle turned inside out. Not error in the theory, but an absence in the map. A planet no one had yet named, betrayed only by its faint pull. Two thinkers working apart took up the arithmetic. From the pattern of Uranus's straying, they asked where such a hidden world would have to be, and how heavy. It was a remarkable act of reasoning, to hunt a planet not by looking but by listening to gravity itself, letting the numbers point across the emptiness toward an unseen place. The mathematics answered with a location, a particular patch of sky where the missing world must ride, quietly steering its neighbor from beyond the reach of any telescope so far turned outward. On a clear night, an observer aimed his instrument at that predicted spot, following the coordinates the equations had handed him, expecting nothing but hoping the sums would hold true. And there it was, Neptune, a new planet, glowing faint and blue almost exactly where the calculations said it should be, waiting to be seen for the first time. Gravity had revealed a world before any human eye had rested on it, describing its place and heft from the subtle nudge it gave a distant wandering companion. Think of how gentle that pull must be, a whisper of force across a vast gulf, and yet enough over years to bend Uranus measurably off its intended road. That is gravity's honesty. It cannot hide a mass entirely. Every hidden world leaves a fingerprint in the motion of the things around it, if you know how to read it. The same reaching force that settles you into your covers tonight once guided a telescope toward a planet unseen, proving the pull is faithful across the smallest room and the widest dark alike. Let that settle over you now, the thought that nothing is truly lost to gravity's account, and that even the far and hidden can be found gently by the tug they leave behind. For centuries, gravity was imagined as a force reaching invisibly across empty space, tugging worlds toward one another. Then, in 1915, a young thinker offered a wholly different way to see it. Einstein wondered whether gravity might not be a pull at all, but something woven into the very shape of space and time. His answer would reimagine the oldest force we know. Picture space and time not as an empty stage, but as a single flexible fabric, a space-time that can bend and curve wherever matter and energy gather within it. In this new picture, the sun does not reach out to grab the Earth. Instead, its great mass curves the space-time around it, and the Earth simply follows that curve. Everything moving through the universe, Einstein realized, is really trying to travel in a straight line. It only appears to swerve because the road itself has been silently bent beneath it. You may have seen a heavy ball placed on a stretched sheet, dimpling the surface so marbles roll inward. That image is only an analogy, yet it hints at something true. The real curving happens in 4 dimensions of space and time together, far richer than any sheet. Still, the lesson holds mass shapes the fabric, and the fabric guides the motion. So the moon circling us is not being yanked along an invisible leash. It is coasting freely, following the straightest path available through the gently curved spacetime near our world. This idea dissolved an old puzzle. Newton described how gravity behaved with wonderful precision, yet never explained what the mysterious reaching across space actually was. Einstein replaced the reaching with geometry. Matter tells space-time how to curve, and curved space-time tells matter how to move. Those 2 sentences, spoken back and forth forever, are the heart of the whole idea. It means gravity is not truly a force pushing against you, but the natural shape of the paths through a bent world. You fall because falling is the straightest way forward. Even the floor holding you takes part. The Earth's mass presses a wide, shallow dip into space-time, and you settle at the base of that broad and welcoming slope, exactly where the shape of things invites you. What feels like weight is simply the floor stopping you from following that curve any deeper. Left alone, you would trace the fabric's contour as effortlessly as a river seeks the sea. This vision arrived not from a new telescope, but from imagination and mathematics, a mind picturing riders in falling elevators and beams of light crossing a moving room. General relativity, as the theory came to be called, did not erase the older understanding so much as enclose it, revealing the familiar pull as the curvature of something deeper. It asks us to trade the picture of strings and forces for one of landscapes and slopes, where every falling thing is really coasting along the gentlest available grade. How restful this is, the thought that you are not being pulled downward but simply following the shape the world makes around you, upheld by geometry itself and asked to do nothing more. And so the oldest force becomes the quiet bending of space and time, cradling planets in starlight and you alike, an idea you can carry softly into sleep. Imagine a wide sheet stretched taut, held level in the air, and a heavy ball set gently upon its center, dipping the fabric into a smooth, rounded valley beneath it. Roll a small marble across that dented sheet and watch how it swerves toward the ball, curving inward not because it is grabbed, but because the surface itself now leans. This is only a picture, a rough sketch, and it is worth saying so plainly, for the truth Einstein offered is subtler and harder to draw than any bending cloth. In his vision, space and time are woven together into one flexible fabric, and every star and planet presses into that weave, shaping the paths that pass nearby. So gravity in this telling is not a rope reaching out across the void to tug you, but the tilt of space around the mass that shapes it. The earth cradling you tonight presses a soft hollow into space and time, and the moon gliding overhead simply follows the gentle slope this hollow carves through the emptiness around us. Nothing whispers to the moon, telling it where to go, for it is already tracing the straightest path it can along a surface that has been serenely curved. Where the sheet analogy falls short is here, that it needs gravity to make the ball sink, while real spacetime bends on its own, with nothing pulling from below. Picture instead that the very shape of nearness and distance changes near a heavy thing, so that going straight ahead becomes, without your choosing, a slow turning aside. A planet in its orbit is like a traveler on rolling ground, holding a steady heading yet still curving, because the ground beneath every footstep is subtly sloped. The more mass a body holds, the deeper its dent in the fabric, and the more sharply the paths around it lean, drawing distant wanderers into wide, unhurried arcs. You feel this yourself, pressed into your mattress, held by the earth's great dimple in the fabric, resting in the hollow it makes across all the space that cradles you. Objects are not so much pulled as guided, ushered along the contours of a hidden landscape you cannot see, one sculpted from the very weave of distance and duration together. Even a rolling marble, given just enough speed, can trace a wide curving path around the sloping dip, hinting at how distant worlds lean into their long returning orbits around the sun. The fabric is not truly a sheet, of course, for it has no edges and no underside, and it reaches in every direction at once, above and below and beyond. Still, the picture serves us, letting a difficult idea rest lightly in the mind, that matter shapes the bending of space, and that bending in turn shapes how everything within it drifts and moves. So the falling of everything, from raindrops to planets, becomes a kind of following and easing along the shape of a world bent kindly by the things within it. Let that thought settle as you lie here, held in a hollow of curved space, following its shape without effort, carried onward along the gentlest of unseen slopes. Because gravity is the curving of space itself, everything must follow that curve, and light is no exception. A beam traveling near a heavy mass leans a little as it goes. Light has no weight to pull upon, yet it still bends near a star. It is not tugged from its road. The road itself is bent, and light simply follows. Imagine a ray leaving a distant sun, crossing the emptiness for years, then passing close beside our own sun. There the space it moves through is subtly warped, and the ray curved. The path a beam takes is always the straightest it can find. Where mass has bent the space around it, that straightest path itself becomes a gentle arc through the sky. So a star hidden almost behind the sun can still be seen, its light swung around the edge as though the sun had nudged the beam aside for you. This means the star appears not quite where it truly sits, but shifted outward by a hair, its true position and its apparent one pulled slightly apart by curved space. The shift is tiny, far too small to notice by eye, a whisper of an angle. Yet, if you could measure it, you would be reading the very shape of space. Yet something stands in the way. Beside the blazing sun, no faint star can be seen, its light lost in the glare long before it ever reaches a waiting telescope on the ground below. Only one thing draws that curtain of daylight aside. When the moon slides perfectly across the face of the sun and the sky goes dim, the hidden stars beside it appear. In 1919, astronomers carried their instruments to distant places to wait beneath such a total eclipse, ready to photograph the stars that would emerge close to the darkened sun. Later, they compared those eclipse photographs with pictures of the same stars taken at night, months apart, when the sun stood elsewhere and its warping influence lay far away. And the stars had moved, just slightly, just as Einstein had foretold. Their light was bent as it grazed the sun, shifting each one outward by that predicted delicate amount. It was a quiet confirmation of an astonishing idea that space bends and light must follow. The measurement matched the theory, and a new picture of gravity stood confirmed. Word of this spread across a weary world, and almost overnight Einstein became famous, his name carried into homes that had never before spoken of curved space or bending light. Think of how far that starlight had already come, crossing unimaginable distance only to be turned by a fraction as it slipped past the sun on its way to a glass plate. The same curving reaches everywhere gravity does. Around every star and galaxy, light leans just a little, so the sky you see is subtly rearranged by all the mass within it. Sometimes the bending is strong enough that a whole galaxy behind another appears smeared into arcs and rings, its light gathered and reshaped by the mass lying between it and you. Rest now with that thought. The light reaching your eyes has been guided gently by the shape of space, and it goes on arriving faithful and unhurried as you let yourself sink softly toward sleep. Let the room grow wide and hushed around you now. Nothing at all is asked of you here. You are simply held, resting in a vastness that means you no harm. Somewhere below thought, your weight loosens its grip. The pressing feeling of being heavy begins to thin, as though the world had opened its hands and asked you to lean back. Picture yourself afloat in something warm and dark and endless. There is no floor to reach and no falling to fear, only a wide buoyancy that carries you without effort. Your breath finds its own slower rhythm. Each rise fades into each fall unhurried, and the space between them grows generous, roomy enough to rest inside for a while. Feel how the immense thing around you is tender rather than vast in any frightening way. It cradles you the way still water cradles a leaf, asking nothing, letting you stay. The edges of your body seem to blur into the surrounding hush. Where you end and where the deep begins becomes a question too pleasant, too warm to bother answering tonight. You are neither rising nor sinking. You hang suspended in a kind of tender balance, held at every point by something that has always known exactly how to keep you. Imagine the last of your weight dissolving like sugar into warm milk. What felt like a burden across your shoulders thins to nothing, and your whole frame remembers how to loosen. Around you the deep breathes too, unhurried and immense. It moves the way a sleeping sea moves, in long swells that lift you and set you down without ever waking you. There is nowhere you need to be but here. The great supporting presence has drawn a circle around this moment, and inside it time has gone pleasantly, wonderfully vague. Notice how being held requires nothing of you. You do not grip back or steady yourself. The holding is complete on its own, generous and sure, and you can let go into it. A warmth moves through your limbs as they grow heavy and then oddly weightless. The two feelings meet and fold together into a single deep contentment that settles behind your eyes. The vastness hums a note too low to hear, felt more than heard, a steady undertone of belonging. You are woven into it now, a small warm thread in an enormous kindly cloth. Let your thoughts float free like slow embers rising, each one drifting upward and away before you can quite catch it. There is no need to follow. Let them go. You rest inside an embrace with no arms, a holding with no hands, wide and formless and utterly safe. It surrounds you on every side and wishes only for your ease. Even your breath begins to feel borrowed from the deep, given and returned without your asking. The great presence breathes with you, and the two of you keep an easy, wordless time. Sink another fraction into the warm, dark past thought, past weight, past the last small tension you were holding. Something immense receives you and closes softly over the place where you were. And here you may stay, cradled and unburdened, breath slowing toward stillness, as the deep goes on holding you gently through the long, quiet hours, asking nothing, letting you rest. Here is one of gravity's strangest kindnesses, and it is true and measured. Where gravity pulls harder, time itself runs a little slower, unspooling at its own unhurried pace. Weight was only half the story. Gravity does not touch space alone. It reaches into time as well, easing the tick of every clock that rests deeper within its pull. Picture a clock resting at the shore where the sea meets the land. It runs a shade slower than a clock lifted high onto a mountaintop, farther from Earth's heart. The difference is almost unimaginably small, far too fine for you to ever feel. Yet it is real, woven into the fabric of the world, waiting to be measured. The higher you climb, the weaker gravity's hold becomes, and so time quickens by the faintest breath. Down here, held closer to the ground, your hours run marginally slower. It means the crown of your head, farther from the earth, ages a whisper faster than the soles of your feet. The two of you keep slightly different time. This is no trick of imagination or faulty clockwork. Scientists have carried atomic clocks up mountains and down again, and watched them disagree by exactly the amount predicted. So the mountaineer, standing where the earth's pull grows thinner, moves through time a touch more swiftly than the sleeper resting in the valley below, drawn nearer the deep. Far overhead, the satellites of the global positioning system circle where Earth's pull is fainter. Up there, their onboard clocks tick a little faster than any clock on the ground. Those spacecraft help your phone know exactly where you stand to do so. They must keep time with astonishing precision, agreeing with the clocks left behind beneath them. If that tiny gap between sky and ground were ignored, the maps would slide astray, wandering farther off with each passing day until they pointed nowhere near the truth. And so the engineers correct for it, deliberately. The satellite's clocks are tuned to run a fraction slow, so that once aloft they match the pace of Earth below. Think of that. Every quiet moment your map guides you home, it is quietly honoring the fact that gravity bends time and accounting for a difference no eye could see. This flows from Einstein's vision, in which mass curves both space and time together. A clock set deeper in that curvature simply keeps a slower, more unhurried count of seconds. There is nothing frightening in it, only wonder. Time is not one rigid river for all. It flexes with gravity, running its own tender pace in every corner of the cosmos. The stronger the gravity, the more pronounced the slowing becomes. Near the deep, powerful pull of a collapsed star, time would nearly stand still, while far out in the quiet emptiness it hurries along. You need not travel to feel yourself part of this. Simply by lying here, nestled against the earth, your own seconds are stretched by the faintest, loving fraction. So rest now, cradled by the same pull that shapes the hours. Let time hold you a shade more slowly tonight and carry you softly onward toward morning. Spacetime is not an empty stage, but a fabric that can bend, and when something disturbs it strongly enough, that fabric can tremble and carry the tremor outward across the emptiness. Picture two immense objects whirling around each other faster and faster as they draw ever closer. Their frantic, accelerating dance shakes the very geometry of space around them. From that dance, ripples spread outward through spacetime itself, moving away at the speed of light and thinning steadily as they travel across the vast reaches between the distant stars. These ripples are what we call gravitational waves, and they carry their message written not in light or in sound, but in the subtle flexing of distance itself. As one of these waves sweeps through, it faintly stretches space in one direction, while squeezing it in the direction crossing that, then reverses the pattern over and over again. Everything the wave touches feels this passing. The room around you, your own resting body, the ground beneath your bed, all breathing ever so slightly in time with it. The stretching is astonishingly tiny, far smaller than the width of a single atom measured across a great length, so faint that for a full century no one could feel it. The clearest sources are two black holes drawing close at last, circling and joining, their long meeting sending out a swell of energy that spreads softly through the whole of space. Yet by the time such a wave finally reaches us, having crossed unimaginable distances of empty space, it arrives as the faintest, most delicate trembling you could imagine. To sense it, we built instruments of extraordinary delicacy, long tunnels with laser light running down their length, forever watching for the tiniest change in how far that light must travel. When a wave passes through, one arm of the instrument grows a fraction longer while the other shrinks, and the steady laser light without a sound reveals that impossibly small fleeting shift. In the year 2015, for the very first time, these listening machines felt a real wave arrive, born of two black holes that had merged together far away and long ago. That first faint tremor had traveled for well over 1 billion years across the cosmos before it reached the Earth at last and set the waiting instruments ringing. It was a new kind of sense opening for us, for we had always known the wider cosmos by its light, and now we could feel it by the quivering of space itself. Some tremendous events send out these waves, but almost no light, and only through their trembling can we ever know they happened out there in the depths of the universe. Because these ripples pass straight through everything without being blocked or dimmed, they carry news to us from places that no light could ever escape to tell us of on its own. Each wave that reaches us is an echo of some ancient upheaval, arriving here long after the great event that made it has fallen silent and passed away into the dark. So as you rest now, know that space is faintly alive with these passing tremors, a distant music you cannot hear, washing through you and drifting onward, unhurried into the night. Here is a secret that might surprise you as you rest tonight. Of all the forces in nature, gravity is by far the feeblest, the faintest whisper among them. Physicists count 4 fundamental forces that shape everything you know, and gravity finishes last, weaker than the others by an amount almost too vast to picture. Consider a small magnet held near a paperclip on the floor. It lifts the clip easily, overpowering the pull of the entire Earth beneath it. One tiny magnet against a whole planet, and the magnet wins. That is how astonishingly slight the grip of gravity truly is. You feel gravity so constantly, keeping you settled on your bed, that it seems mighty, yet set beside the forces binding atoms, its strength is almost nothing at all. The force that holds a magnet to your refrigerator, the electric force, dwarfs gravity so completely that the numbers stretch far beyond ordinary imagining. Why then, does gravity seem to rule everything above you? The moon, the sun, the wheeling stars scattered across the night? Its strength lies not in fierceness, but in patience. Gravity always attracts, never repels, so it can never be turned against itself. Gravity alone cannot cancel. Every scrap of mass pulls on every other, and those countless small tugs add together without a single one subtracting. Gravity alone cannot cancel. Every scrap of mass pulls on every other, and those countless small tugs add together without ever subtracting. Across a mountain, a planet, a star, gravity simply accumulates, mass upon mass, until the faintest of forces becomes the one that shapes worlds. So the weakling of nature peacefully wins the long game, ruling the vast where the mighty short-range forces cannot reach. It holds the earth together as a sphere. It keeps the moon circling faithfully overhead through every night you have ever slept beneath it. It gathers gas and dust across unimaginable emptiness into stars, and draws billions of stars into the slow-turning wheel of a galaxy. The strong forces reign inside the atom, powerful but bound to the tiniest distances, spent within a hair's breadth of where they begin. Gravity has no such limit. It fades with distance, yet it reaches on forever, touching everything with the same tireless, tender insistence. There is comfort in this. The softest force is the one that binds the whole universe, holding it in a single steady embrace. So let that faint, faithful pull settle over you now, the same force cradling galaxies, gathering you gently into rest, and stay with you through the night. Out among the darkness between the stars, gravity is at work, drawing together enormous clouds of gas and floating dust that would otherwise wander apart forever, gathering them inward toward one another. These clouds are unimaginably vast and thin, colder than anything you have known, yet every scattered particle feels the faint pull of every other, and so the cloud begins to lean gently inward. Because gravity never stops, and because it always attracts, even the thinnest whisper of matter slowly wins. Over ages beyond counting, the great cloud contracts, folding itself toward its own center. As the cloud shrinks, its scattered matter crowds closer together, and the crowding warms it. What was frigid and diffuse grows denser and warmer, heat rising simply from the falling inward. You can imagine each mote surrendering to the pull, sliding toward the middle, its long fall converted into warmth. Gravity gathers the cold, and in gathering kindles the first hint of fire. Near the heart of the collapsing cloud, matter piles into a dense, glowing core, hotter and heavier with every passing age, pressed together by the weight of everything falling upon it. The pressure and heat climb until, at the very center, something extraordinary begins. Atoms are squeezed so fiercely that they start to fuse, and a new star quietly kindles into light. That first ignition is gravity's gift. Without its endless inward pull, no core would ever grow hot enough to shine, and the universe would hold only cold and drifting haze. Once the star awakens, it does not gather every scrap of the old cloud, a flattened disk of leftover gas and dust wheels slowly around the newborn sun, still held by its pull. Within that spinning disk, the same steady force keeps working. Tiny grains bump and cling, small clumps sweep up smaller ones, and gravity begins knitting the debris into growing bodies. As these clumps swell, their own gravity strengthens, letting them pull in more of the surrounding grit and pebbles. Little worlds gather themselves silently from the scattered remains of the cloud. Piece by piece, over long stretches of time, whole planets take shape, rounded smooth by the very force that assembled them, each one a gathering of dust that gravity coaxed into a globe. So the very force that settles you here tonight built the ground beneath you long ago, shaping a wandering cloud into a warm sun and the family of worlds that circle it. Everything you can name owes its form to this gathering. The rocks, the seas, the air, the star that lights your days, all were sculpted from loose matter by gravity's slow embrace. Think of it as the great sculptor of the cosmos, working not with hammer or chisel, but with pure attraction, coaxing form from formlessness across spans of time too long to feel. It is a tender kind of building. Nothing is forced or hurried, only drawn steadily toward togetherness, each grain finding its place because gravity, weak as it is, never once lets go. And still it continues. Somewhere tonight another cold cloud is leaning inward, another core warming toward its first light, another ring of worlds beginning to form from the dark between the stars. So rest now, held by the same force that lights the suns and rounds the planets, knowing the sky above you is forever gathering itself, unhurried and sure, while you drift toward sleep. The same force that draws you down into your bed reaches outward without end, holding the entire universe together in one unbroken weave stretched across all of space. Gravity is the weakest of nature's forces, yet because it only ever pulls and never pushes away, Its faint tug accumulates across enormous masses into something immense. The same pull that binds the moon to Earth binds billions of stars into a galaxy, each sun tracing its long orbit around a shared and glowing center. Rest here and let your thoughts widen outward, past the stars of our own galaxy, to where galaxies themselves are gathered together by that same steady attraction. Galaxies rarely travel alone. Their mutual gravity draws them into companionable groups and clusters, hundreds or thousands of them bound loosely together across distances almost too wide to picture. Beyond the clusters, gravity works on a scale grander still, gathering them into long threads and broad sheets that lace their way through the darkness of space. Astronomers call this the cosmic web, an immense and delicate scaffolding of matter, its bright filaments strung between great empty voids like dew along an unimaginable spider's silk. The web was not built in a moment. It emerged over billions of years as the thinnest scattering of early matter slowly leaned together under its own attraction. In the beginning, the universe was nearly smooth, with only the faintest ripples of extra matter here and there, barely denser than the space around them. Where matter was a little thicker, its gravity pulled a little harder, and so those places gathered more to themselves, while emptier regions grew emptier and wider. Grain by grain across cosmic time, the faint became the dense. The universe sorted itself into knots and strands, drawn out from near nothing by a force you cannot feel. Along these luminous filaments, the galaxies are strung like beads, and where filaments meet and cross, the greatest clusters gather at the crowded junctions of the web. Between the bright threads lie the voids, vast rounded emptinesses where galaxies are few and light is scarce, spaces that gravity has slowly swept nearly clean. It astonishes physicists that the weakest of all the forces should be the great architect, sculpting the largest structures ever known from matter thinner than any breath. Much of the mass shaping this web seems to be unseen, an invisible presence known only by its pull, still one of the deep open questions of science. Whatever that hidden matter may prove to be, its gravity threads through the web, holding galaxies in place and helping the grand scaffolding keep its ancient shape. You are a small, warm part of this same weave, resting on a world, in a galaxy, in a filament of the endless cosmic web. The same tender pull that holds you now holds the farthest galaxies too, and it will keep holding them long after you have eased into sleep. Rest here and let a galaxy turn slowly through the dark before you, a vast wheel of stars. It wheels, and by every measure you take, it turns far faster than its light can explain. Count the stars you can see, weigh their light, and add it all together. That visible mass alone could never hold such a spinning galaxy together against its own motion. By the ordinary rules of gravity, a wheel turning that fast should fling its outer stars away, unraveling into the emptiness. Yet the galaxy holds steady and whole, refusing to come apart. Something is missing from the sum. Some hidden mass seems to be there, adding gravity we cannot account for from the shining matter our telescopes so carefully measure. Watch the outer stars, the ones far from the crowded center. They circle nearly as fast as the inner ones, when they ought to be lazing along slower and calmer. That stubborn swiftness is the clue. It whispers of extra mass spread wide through the galaxy, unseen, gripping the distant stars and keeping them wheeling in their long, faithful orbits. Whatever holds them gives off no light of its own. It does not shine, does not glow, does not glimmer. It simply pulls, felt only through the steady grip of its gravity. We have given this unseen mass a name, dark matter. The name is honest about how little we know, for dark here means unlit, unseen, and still deeply mysterious. It is not the dark of empty space between the stars, but something present and heavy, woven invisibly through and around the galaxies, steadying them as they turn. By the reckoning of its gravity, there seems to be far more of this unseen mass than all the ordinary matter that makes stars, planets, and you resting warmly in your bed. It passes through the shining world without a trace, touching nothing you could hold, casting no shadow, leaving no mark save the tug of its weight upon the wheeling stars. Astronomers see its fingerprints everywhere they look, in the spin of galaxies, in the way great clusters bend the passing light, always the same missing gravity serenely asking to be explained. What is it truly made of? Some unknown kind of particle, perhaps, one that slips past our finest detectors and mingles with the world while barely ever brushing against it. Or perhaps our understanding of gravity itself is a little incomplete, and the missing pull is hinting at some deeper, subtler law we have not yet learned how to read. For now, both doors stand open, and honest scientists say plainly that they do not yet know. This is one of the great unanswered questions still waiting in our sky. There is a strange comfort in a mystery this large and this old, a reminder that the universe keeps its secrets close, and that wonder is never quite used up. The galaxies keep turning on, held together by more than we can see, their outer stars carried faithfully around by an unseen hand whose true nature we have not yet uncovered. So let the unseen mass hold the heavens together while you let go of the day and rest easy in a universe still full of quiet, unhurried questions. For most of the last century, we assumed gravity would eventually slow the expanding universe, drawing the galaxies back toward one another the way a thrown stone rises and then returns. So it came as a genuine surprise when careful measurements of distant exploding stars revealed the opposite. The cosmos is not slowing as expected. The great distances are widening faster. Picture every far galaxy easing away from every other, and the farther apart they are, the more quickly they recede. Space itself seems to be lengthening between them ever more eagerly. This acceleration should not happen under gravity alone. Gravity pulls, it gathers, it brings things together, yet on the largest scales, something appears to be doing the reverse. We give this unexplained influence a name, dark energy. Though the name is mostly a placeholder, it marks where our understanding thins, a label wrapped around a lasting question. It would be tempting to call it anti-gravity, a force that shoves worlds apart, but that is too simple and probably wrong. Dark energy is subtler and far stranger than a push. The leading idea imagines it as a property woven into empty space itself, a faint energy present even where there is nothing, spread evenly through every unlit corner of the void. As the universe grows, new space appears, and if that space carries its own energy, then more space means more of this influence, quietly compounding across the widening dark. Because it lives in space rather than in matter, it does not dilute as galaxies spread thin. Instead, it holds steady, and slowly it comes to dominate the whole grand story. How much of the universe is this mystery? By our best accounting, most of it far outweighing all the stars and gas and unseen matter combined, and yet we cannot say what it. Its effect is almost nothing nearby. It does not lift you from your bed or loosen the moon from its path. On human scales, gravity keeps the upper hand and holds you near. Only across distances too vast to picture, between galaxies separated by millions of years of light, does this influence gather enough reach to overtake the pull binding everything together. Some wonder whether it is truly constant, or whether it shifts across the long ages, once weaker, perhaps changing still. New telescopes are listening closely for any such wavering. If it stays the course, the far galaxies will drift ever farther, until in an unimaginable future each gathering of stars keeps its own quiet company beneath a calm and distant sky. That thought could feel lonely, yet there is a strange tenderness in it. Whatever holds near you now, this room, this warmth, remains close, unhurried by the distant deepening. Dark energy may be the deepest puzzle we have found. It sits at the edge of physics, unexplained, reminding us how much of the universe still waits to be understood. We do not know if it is a constant of nature, a field yet undiscovered, or a hint that our theory of gravity needs gently rewriting on the grandest of scales. So let the mystery rest with you unsolved tonight. The widening dark, no threat, only a vast, unhurried breath the universe is taking while you settle into yours. Imagine carrying your weight from world to world. The number on the scale is simply how firmly each place pulls upon the matter you are made of, and every world pulls differently. Your mass, the amount of you, never changes as you travel. Only your weight shifts, growing lighter or heavier depending on the ground beneath your feet and the pull it offers. Step onto the moon, and you would weigh only about 1/6 of your weight at home. The same body, the same bones, suddenly held by a far kinder hand. With that lighter pull, walking becomes a floating thing. You could push off the dust and rise into slow, unhurried leaps, hanging in the air a moment before settling down again. The astronauts who walked there found this out firsthand, bounding across the surface in loping hops, because ordinary steps would have carried them farther than they meant to go. Now picture Mars, a smaller world than ours. There you would weigh roughly 1/3 of your earthly weight, lighter on your feet, though not so buoyant as upon the moon. On that rust-colored ground you might feel wonderfully unburdened, as if some of the long day's tiredness had been eased from your weary shoulders and laid aside for a while. The reason is size and substance. A world with less mass gathered together pulls with a weaker hand, and so you press down on it with less of your weight. Turn now toward Jupiter, that vast striped giant. Its enormous mass would pull you far harder than Earth ever does, and you would feel heavier than you have ever felt. There, near the top of its clouds, your limbs would seem weighted, each movement asking more of you, the giant's grip reminding you just how much matter it holds. Yet the same you, unchanged inside, would experience all these weights, heavier on Jupiter, lighter on Mars, feather light on the Moon, while the amount of you stayed exactly the same. Shrink your world instead to a small asteroid, a mountain of rock adrift among the stars. Its pull would be so faint you could scarcely feel yourself pressed against it. On such a tiny body, a firm push of your legs would lift you slowly clear of it, and you might drift a while above the rock before its faint pull eases you down once more. There the horizon curves close, and the pull grows so slight that jumping and orbiting begin to blur, and a careless leap could become a slow departure among the stars. Everywhere you go, the rule stays the same. More mass gathered means a stronger pull, less mass means a weaker one, and your weight faithfully answers whichever world holds you. It is a comforting kind of arithmetic. Weight is never truly yours to keep. It is only the tender pressure of wherever you happen to be standing at that moment. So the weight you feel tonight, holding you to your bed, is Earth's own particular greeting, no more and no less than the pull this good world offers you. Let that thought carry you onward, from moon to planet to lonely asteroid, each holding you a little differently, as your own weight settles you softly toward rest. Above you, unseen, lies an ocean of air, and it is gravity alone that keeps it pressed close, a blanket the earth has drawn around itself and holds without ever letting go. Every breath you take tonight is a gift of weight, for the same pull that draws you down into your bed also holds the air low enough for your lungs to gather it in. The atmosphere has weight of its own, and gravity draws it downward, packing it thickest near the ground, so the very air you rest in is heavier than the thin air far above. Air is made of countless tiny molecules, forever moving, and left alone they would scatter into space. Gravity is the tenderness that keeps them near, gathered around the world that made them. You might think of the sky as endless, yet it thins with height until it fades, and only the Earth's steady pull decides how far that fragile layer can reach upward. This blanket does more than let you breathe. It warms the nights, softens the sunlight, and shields the ground from small stones of space that burn away before they ever arrive. A more massive world pulls harder, and so it can cradle more air. The Earth is just heavy enough to hold a rich atmosphere close against the emptiness beyond. Consider the Moon, whose gravity is only about 1/6 of ours, far too faint to keep a thick sky. Whatever air it once had slipped away into the surrounding void. On the Moon there is no blanket left, no wind, no weather, only bare gray ground beneath a black sky, because its pull was never strong enough to hold the air home. Mars tells a gentler version of the same story, its gravity near 1/3 of Earth's, holding only a thin whisper of atmosphere where a thicker one may once have wrapped it warm. Long ago, some of that Martian air was likely stripped away, coaxed loose by sunlight, and lost to space, because the planet's grip could not keep it pressed firmly down. Weaker gravity means a looser hold, and over vast spans of time the fastest molecules climb higher and higher until they escape, thinning a sky the world can no longer keep. So the thickness of a planet's air is written in its mass, each world keeping only what its own weight can carry, some richly clothed and some left almost bare. The Earth, by good fortune, sits in a happy middle, heavy enough to hold a breathable sky, yet gentle enough that the air rests lightly upon everything it touches. Feel, if you can, the column of air standing over you right now, held down by gravity, pressing on you always, a weight so even and familiar you have never once noticed it. That pressure is not a burden, but a comfort. The sign of a world well wrapped, a sky tucked in around you like bedding smoothed and settled for the night. And because this pull reaches every part of the globe at once, the whole planet breathes beneath one shared blanket, the same air circling over sleepers on every distant shore. So let the thought settle as your eyes grow heavy. The earth holds its sky, the sky holds you, and beneath that held and endless breath you are free to rest. When two worlds hold each other by gravity, neither one simply sits still while the other circles it. Both move, each answering the pull of the other across the space between them. There is a point between any two bodies where their masses balance, a shared center they both belong to. Around this quiet pivot, the pair turns together, bound and unhurried. Think of the Earth and the Moon not as one ruler and one follower, but as partners. Each traces its own small circle around the balance point they hold in common. The Moon does not merely swing around the Earth alone. As it goes, the Earth answers with a smaller loop of its own, both leaning toward the center they share. Because the Earth carries far more mass, that shared center lies deep inside our planet, not out in the emptiness. So the Earth's own circle is modest, a slight and steady sway. The Moon, being lighter, must travel the wider path around that balance. Its loop is larger, yet it belongs to the very same turning as the Earth's smaller one. You feel none of this beneath your blanket, yet the ground itself is looping. The Earth traces its little arc around the Moon and Earth's center while you rest upon it. This balance point has an old name, the barycenter, the place where two masses find their poise. It is the true hinge around which a paired dance actually turns. Where the two bodies are closer in mass, the shared center sits nearer the middle of the space between them. Then both partners swing in circles of comparable size. Out among the stars, this same waltz plays on a grander scale. Many suns are not solitary but paired, two stars bound around the balance they forever share. In such a pair, each star follows its own long ellipse around their common center. They lean toward each other across the void, held in a slow, unbroken embrace. Neither star simply chases the other around a plane circle. Instead, both of them curve around the point of poise between them, mirrored partners tracing their matched loops together. By watching how a star sways around an unseen balance, astronomers can weigh a hidden companion. The wobble itself reveals the mass sharing that quiet center with it. The same telling wobble also hints at whole worlds that we cannot ever see directly. A distant planet tugs its own star into a tiny loop, and that faint motion whispers that something orbits there. Every orbit, then, is truly a partnership between two bodies. What looks like one thing simply circling another is really two things circling the shared place where their pulls come into balance. It is a reassuring kind of physics, this mutual holding. No world is merely dragged along. Each answers the other, and both keep faith with the center between them. Across all scales, from moon and earth to distant suns, the pattern repeats, faithful and true. two masses find their shared point of poise and turn around it without any end. So as you settle now, picture that steady balance far above, worlds leaning toward each other, held. Let the thought of it ease you slowly towards sleep. Every world holds tightly to whatever rests upon it, and to leave one behind entirely, you must move fast enough that its gravity can never quite reel you back home. That threshold has a name: escape velocity. It is the speed at which you slip a world's hold for good, coasting outward without ever turning around and tumbling back toward the ground. Toss a ball upward and gravity wins, drawing it down into your waiting hand. Throw it faster and it rises higher, yet the same pull still bends its path back to you. There is, though, a speed beyond which the ball would keep climbing forever, forever slowing but never stopping, never quite falling home again. Reach that pace and you have broken free. Gravity does not slam a door behind you, it simply weakens with distance, easing its grip as you climb. So escape is less a leap over a wall than a race against a thinning pull. The stronger a world's gravity, the faster you must travel to outrun it. A heavier, more massive body clings harder, and clinging harder means a higher speed is needed to leave. From Earth's surface, escape velocity is tremendous, many times swifter than any sound. This is why a rocket must burn so fiercely, straining to reach a pace that finally loosens the planet's embrace. Rockets do not push against the air or fling themselves at some distant ceiling. They labor to gather enough speed that Earth's steady downward pull can no longer bring them back around. On the Moon, whose gravity is roughly a sixth of Earth's escape, is far easier. A gentler pull asks a gentler speed, and leaving that gray world takes only a modest fraction of the effort. A smaller world with weaker gravity releases you readily. A giant like Jupiter holds on with ferocious strength, demanding a far greater speed before anything can hope to wander away from it. Notice that escape velocity does not depend on how heavy you are. A pebble and a spacecraft must reach the very same speed, for gravity quickens every mass toward the ground alike. It is a kind of bargain written into space itself. Trade enough speed and a world will let you go, keeping nothing, asking only that you outpace the reach of its pull. Even after you break free, gravity does not truly vanish. It follows you outward, thinning across the widening distance, forever tugging back, yet forever too faint to gather you in again. That is the beautiful subtlety of escaping. You are never fully released, only moving quickly enough that the endless pull can no longer close the gap it keeps trying to close. Slower than escape velocity, and a world becomes a home you cannot help returning to, rising and falling, bound to its surface by the same force that steadies you where you live. Faster, and the horizon opens. The path that once curved back toward the ground straightens into an outward journey, carrying you toward the wide spaces between the worlds. Think of it as the exact speed of letting go, the pace at which holding on becomes impossible for a world, and departure turns from a struggle into an unhurried coast. So rest now with the thought of that threshold, the quiet arithmetic by which anything, given speed enough, may drift free and travel on, while you stay warm and held right here. Of all the forces that shape the world around you, gravity is the one that science has never fully understood, the one still holding its deepest secret without a sound close. You have felt gravity holding you all through your life, and yet the truest, most complete description of how it really works remains, even now, just beyond our reach. There is another great language in physics, the quantum world, which governs everything small, the flickering realm of atoms and the teenier particles hidden somewhere deep inside them. In that tiny domain, matter behaves in ways that feel almost like a dream, blurred and uncertain, existing in many possibilities at once until the moment it is finally seen. The strange rules of the small have been tested with astonishing care over many years, and they describe light, matter, and 3 of the 4 known forces beautifully well. Gravity, though, has stayed apart from all of this, refusing so far to be spoken in that same quantum language, keeping instead to its own smooth account of curving spacetime. 2 magnificent theories, then, each one true and trusted within its own home, yet they do not quite agree with each other in the rare places where their worlds overlap. One of them tells you how the very large behaves, the sweep of stars and space itself. The other tells you how the very small flickers softly into being. For most of your ordinary life, these 2 never trouble each other, since stars are never small and single atoms carry far too little mass to bend the space around them. Only in rare extremes, deep within a black hole, or at the universe's very first instant, do both demands press together and ask insistently to be answered at the same time. There, the equations we have long trusted begin to strain at their edges, offering answers too strange to be the whole story, a gentle sign that something deeper still waits to be understood. Weaving gravity and the quantum together into one single, harmonious theory is among the greatest unfinished quests in all of physics, a puzzle that generations of thinkers have longed to solve. Thoughtful minds have offered beautiful ideas, tiny vibrating strings, or the fabric of space itself, woven from countless small loops, each one a brave attempt to glimpse the hidden answer. Yet none of them has been confirmed, for the scales at which the 2 theories truly merge lie far beyond anything our finest instruments can reach or measure or test today. It is humbling and rather wonderful, too, that the most familiar force of all, the very one pressing you gently into your bed right now, still guards a mystery this deep. Somewhere beneath everything we know, there may be one simple, elegant idea from which both the vast and the tiny alike may flow, a single hidden thread still awaiting its discovery. That great answer is not truly lost, only unfound, resting somewhere within the deep structure of the world, ready and waiting for a curious mind willing to see it whole. So let this last great puzzle stay unsolved a little longer tonight, held safely in the dark until the morning comes, while you settle, warm and unhurried, softly into your rest. All through this journey, gravity has held the stars in place, and now in the last of it, notice how the very same force holds you here upon your bed. You need no map to know which way is down. Somewhere beneath the surface of thought, your body already knows, and it has known since before you could speak. Deep within each ear, folded away past hearing, lie tiny organs whose only task is to feel the steady pull of the world and report which way it leads. Inside them float minute crystals, each heavier than the fluid around it, forever sinking toward the ground. Their small, faithful weight is what tells your brain where down is lying. When you tilt your head, that inner weight shifts with you, and the pull it feels tips too, so your sense of down follows the true down of the earth. It is gravity in the end that these delicate sensors are reading. The same force binding the moon is being measured moment by moment in the hollows of your skull. You keep your balance without a single thought, standing, turning, leaning back, because that steady reading arrives without your ever asking for it, threaded into everything your body chooses to do. Close your eyes now, and the sense of down remains. It does not need light, for it listens to a pull that reaches through you whether you look or not. Every creature with a spine carries some form of this small compass, inherited across an immense span of time from ancestors who first learned which way the ground lay. A lifetime spent within this pull has shaped you more than you might guess. Your bones grew dense against it, laying down strength precisely where the weight was born. Your posture, too, is an answer to gravity, a long negotiation between the downward pull and the muscles that hold you upright through each unremembered hour of the day. Astronauts who spend months in free fall return to find their bones thinned and their bodies startled, having lost, for a while, the steady load that shaped them. So the pull you might once have thought of as a burden is also a builder, peacefully asking your frame to be strong, and your frame answering all your life long. There is deep comfort in this. To feel your weight settle into the mattress is to feel yourself held by the oldest and most faithful force there is. Lying down, the work of standing ends. The muscles that fought the pull all day release it, and the same force that wearied them now cradles you instead. This is among the body's earliest comforts, older than any words and older than memory itself, to give your weight over completely and be caught without fail by the waiting ground. Feel how gravity does not clutch or grasp. It only draws steadily, endlessly, the way it draws the tides and the planets, and asks nothing of you but to rest. So let the sense of down do its quiet reading while you sleep. You are carried as the tides and the planets are carried, and that holding will not loosen before the morning comes. From the earliest breath of the universe, one steady influence has been at work, gathering scattered matter toward itself, never hurried, never resting, only drawing everything inward across the widening reaches of time. Long before there were worlds, gravity was already there, coaxing thin clouds of gas to lean together so that the first faint warmth might one day gather into light. Every star you can imagine began as a loose haze that this force pulled close, tightening and warming it until deep within the darkness kindled into a glowing heart. Around those young stars, the same influence swept drifting dust into rings, then into worlds, building the very ground that would come to hold seas and mountains, and in time you consider how steadily it works, without effort or announcement, simply holding what it has gathered, keeping each world in its wide and unwavering path around the fire that made it. It is the faintest of nature's forces, yet because it works in one direction alone, forever drawing inward, its small tug adds and adds until it can cradle entire galaxies. There is a tenderness in that arithmetic, a force so faint in any single grain, yet so faithful in the sum that it can bind 100 billion suns. The same influence that shaped the stars also keeps you here now, pressing you kindly into your bed, letting your tired weight settle and be held by the world beneath you. Think of it as a long holding that began before the first morning and has never once slackened, keeping the moon beside the earth as surely as it keeps you. It asks nothing of you and takes nothing away. It only keeps gathering the wandering and the weary and drawing them gently towards some resting place of their own. Across unthinkable distances, this quiet pull still reaches, growing fainter with the miles yet never truly ending, so that nothing in all of space is ever fully let go. The matter within you was gathered this way, assembled long ago by the same reaching influence that turned formless clouds into stars and stars into the elements of living things. So you are, in a sense, something the universe has been collecting for ages, one small warm gathering of ancient dust held together and held in place by that faithful force. There is comfort in belonging to so old a pattern, in knowing the influence that steadies whole galaxies is the very one that keeps you from falling away. It works while you sleep and while you wake, tireless and unremarkable, holding the tides, the orbits, the falling rain, and your own settled body in one continuous keeping. Let the thought of it ease you now, this ancient force that has only ever wished to gather and to hold, curving all of time toward togetherness and toward rest. You are being held as everything is held by something that began holding at the very beginning and has not paused since, a keeping older than any word for it. So rest inside that long embrace, trusting the steady pull that made the worlds to keep you two, gathered and warm, as the night carries you onward toward morning. At this very moment, the whole earth is reaching up through your mattress to hold you where you are. That steady pull has a name we have followed all this while: gravity. You do not have to grip the bed to stay upon it. The planet does the holding for you, drawing your body toward its center with a steadiness older than the oceans. The same force cradling you against these sheets is the force that keeps the moon wheeling overhead, never falling away, forever leaning toward the world that made it. Far out at sea, the moon lifts the water into two gentle bulges near side and far, so most shores breathe up to two high tides through each turning day. Reach your awareness outward and the story only widens. Gravity binds the sun to its planets and binds our sun to the slow river of stars we call the galaxy. Though it is the gentlest of the forces, it never repels and only ever gathers, so across great reaches of space it adds together and shapes everything that is. Weakness here becomes a kind of tenderness. A single grain has almost no pull, but a whole planet's worth adds up to the sure hand now resting under you. Your weight tonight is simply the earth loving your mass toward itself. Somewhere else on a smaller world you would weigh less, yet you would still be held. On the moon, that same body of yours would press down far more lightly, no heavier than a held breath, and still the ground would meet you and keep you. Even the astronauts who seem to float are not free of this embrace. They are falling endlessly around the earth, forever missing the ground, held by the very pull they orbit. Einstein taught that gravity may be less a rope and more the shape of space and time themselves, curved by the world, so you rest in the hollow the earth has made. Think of that hollow as a warm dip you have settled into, following the straightest, easiest path there is through a space quietly bent by the mass beneath you. This pull bends starlight and slows the ticking of clocks, real effects we have measured, so that time itself runs a little more tenderly here near the ground where you lie. When distant black holes met and merged, they sent ripples through spacetime that reached us across the universe, faint tremors in the same fabric that steadies you now. And though astronomers still puzzle over unseen mass and an expanding sky, the part of gravity you can feel tonight is certain, simple, and entirely on your side. So let your shoulders give their weight to the bed. Let the mattress meet you. Let the floor beneath meet the mattress. Let the turning earth hold all of it up. You are not clinging to this spinning world. It is holding you the way it holds the seas and the moon and the far, faint stars scattered through the dark. Rest now in that steady hold and let it carry you down into sleep as it carries the seas and the far stars. From all of us at the Circadian Institute, held and unhurried, good night.